Hello and welcome to the Arsenal BiteSize Podcast. We're here at the end of the international break to preview the Everton game this Sunday. It's been a long time since we won at Goodison Park, since
You
the
forgot
Wenger
how
days.
to host.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a long time since the Wenger days. 2017 was the last time we won at Goodison Park, so I'm hoping you'll be more optimistic than I am going into this game. And yeah, it's good to be back with you, Clayton. How are things?
Reason I'm laughing is I need to tell everyone what just happened.
Yeah, you do need to tell them. Yeah.
Nima's obviously been on holiday, and for anyone that didn't catch the last couple of pods, I for the first time ever I hosted, right, and we had Hassan on, we had Mike and Scott, we had Adam and Angus, and I was hosting, and like I struggled with it initially, and then I got the hang of it, and then Nima's fucking rusty. He comes on, and basically in the back end, you have to like click the countdown and then go live. He clicked the countdown, he just didn't click go live. We just sat there, and he's just. And then even now, like, I can tell you like forgot what to say.
I was like, what do I even say? Yeah, I was like totally out of it. I'm clearly not fully back in business yet.
International break. He's he's lacking match fitness, but
Yeah,
Arsenal
I
are
need some
not.
training.
So yeah, but we're back. So it was a busy international break for a lot of our players. Like saw a few of them. I think Bobby put out a tweet about some of the minutes and stuff. A lot of our key boys played quite a lot. But yeah, can we beat the Everton Goodison Park hoodoo? I think I saw we haven't won there since 2017. I want to say. I think I saw.
Yeah, 2017. Wenger was the last manager to win there for Arsenal. So it's been tough. Obviously, we know what happened last season. They're also doing very badly now. Oh, you were, of course. Yeah, they're doing very badly right now as well. And
I saw
never
someone
liked going
tweet
to
they're
play
going to
these
have a
teams.
new takeover bounce.
That's
Did
the
you see
thing,
this?
yeah. Like,
They completed the
have they been
takeover,
taken
right?
over? Has it just been
Yeah, so
completed?
it's been completed. Yeah, that 777 company, and so last year we had new manager bounce. This year we're going to get new takeover bounce from them.
Why? Why is it always us? It reminds me of Southampton when they like in a game. I think it was 10 games, and on Boxing Day they like spanked us, and I was just like,
Yeah,
how? Like these
that
guys, it's
guy
the
scored
only
that
game they
banger, I
won.
think.
Was it
Yeah.
Pellegrini or back in the day?
Oh,
Who was
maybe
it?
I'm
I
thinking of the
forgot.
wrong. I was thinking of that right back, but maybe I've got that wrong.
This was like a 3-4-0 Boxing Day slap up, and like they lost every game before and after they faced us. I just really hope Everton don't do like a masterclass with everyone showing up ready to just
I
batter us.
know.
I do feel our boys are stronger now. Like I look at our team and the height is disgusting. You see the video of the
Yeah.
tunnel against United where
No, I've not
our
actually.
boys are coming out. You need to see that. There's like our boys are coming out,
Lissandro Martinez.
and then, yeah, that's Saliba and Martinez come out at the same time, and you just look at it and you start creasing. Honestly, you start creasing.
We've got a very physically imposing team that's also very technical, which is a good blend.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be like the Arsenal teams of old, perhaps, like, when we used to play the likes of Stoke and obviously Burnley previous to Company when they now try
We'd
to
go
play
toe
attacking
to toe
football.
with that sort of teams now, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we'd be well up for that like physical battle now. And we've got the personnel to really dig in and do what's needed, right, to see it through. That kind of that 10-man that we went down to, right? We were really against Fulham, like obviously that game,
Palace.
like also Palace even, yeah. So because Fulham's the one, I'm just still pissed about Fulham. But that with 10 men against Palace, like the way we defended to end that game, the way we limited them, like I was like, wow, this is not the Arsenal I know. Like normally we're panicking at the final 10, 20 minutes, but Gabriel subbed on, we were 10 men and we defended for our lives, and I felt quite safe. I never really quite felt like
same.
they were going to score, and that's crazy with 10 men. So yeah, 11 men against 11 men against Everton. I think we've got it physically where it matters. Like it's time to break this record, basically. Like no more of this
go
bullshit.
into it?
Like, in a way, yeah. Let's go straight into it.
So predicted lineups. So obviously this was on the graphic. We've got the team that started against Man United. I think the general consensus before the party news came out was everyone thought Havertz wouldn't play. Was the general narrative I think I saw, where people thought it would be Partey, Odegaard, Rice, and obviously Yeah, for podcast listeners, the team was Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Rice, Havertz, Saka, Nketiah, Martinelli. I'm just going to go straight for it if you don't mind. I think it's going to be the same
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. I think the only difference I've seen that seems reasonable to call out is if Jesus is ready enough to start ahead of Nketiah.
Right.
But I think that's a difficult debate because, if he starts this, is he then going to start midweek? And like if
Who?
Jesus doesn't start
Jesus?
and then if
Or
Jesus doesn't start midweek, does he then start against Spurs in the North London derby? I almost feel like whoever starts as striker in the Champions League tie will be the one who will start as striker against Spurs. That's what I'm
that
thinking. So I
that's
think Jesus isn't going to be the one to start this game, like you're saying.
yeah, that's kind of because I said the team, but I didn't really give any rationale. That's basically it for me. I feel like Nketiah is going to get one more league game, and then I can see Jesus starting midweek and being hooked early with a view to starting on Sunday against Spurs as well. And let's be real, as good as Nketiah's done, when Jesus is fit, Nketiah's not starting.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
So
that's the question: is he fit yet? And I'm not
yeah,
so sure he is. And
and as a
obviously, he's
result, I
travelled
feel
a
like
lot as
it's
well, right?
yeah. Yeah, but also with that in mind, I feel like it's fair to get if we're acknowledging that as long as Jesus is fit and Nketiah is probably not going to be starting, give him the one more game against an Everton, right?
Yeah. Like I would love Jesus to start, obviously, but I just don't want to see him breaking down because we're rushing it. And the reality is, I think he subbed on for 1 minute for us, then he subbed on for 14 minutes for us. And when we were talking about the minutes Bobby put out, Jesus played 29 minutes in the international break. Like,
Yeah.
like the guy is like he's not really got going yet. But I think last time he came back from injury, I don't know who it was who said this. Maybe it was I think when I was listening to one of you guys on one of the guest shows when I wasn't here. There was talk about how within 3 games of him returning from injury, he then started doing back-to-back 90s again.
Yeah.
So this would be the third game back from injury, right? And I
Yeah.
guess it's after this game is when you would then expect him to, because he's a quick healer.
He is, yeah. And also he's had this international break as well. I like you said, he only played, what was it, 23 or 29
For
minutes?
29
So
minutes, yeah.
he's been consistently training. And I just think he had a cameo against Man United. He's had the international break cameo. He's now got another cameo in him, in my opinion, against Everton. I can see it in like 30 to 40, probably 30 minutes. And then, like I say, start the PSV game, try to get that rhythm 60, 70, so that he's 100% both match fit and generally fit for the big one against Spurs. So that's how I think it will go. Havertz, seen some discourse on Havertz versus Vieira. I'm quite bullish on. I think Havertz should and will start this game personally.
I think just from the physical stuff we were discussing, like he's one of our biggest players. Like I know he might not look strong, but he is
No, he
tall and he
is,
is
yeah.
strong and he is fast. So I would think against their midfield three that they played us, and I'm sure we'll look at their lineup for this game in a moment. But I would want him there. Actually, what I'd seen wasn't Vieira. What I'd seen was Jorginho playing as the 6 to be a controller and Rice playing as the 8 instead of
You're
Havertz.
right. I've seen that as well. What do you think of that?
I don't mind it. I'm not sure I'd want Jorginho to play at the base against that midfield of Everton. I think they're quite
Really?
big, strong guys. I don't know. I guess if they can't get to him because he's silky and making the passes at the right time, fair enough. But I just don't see like Havertz not starting. He got that fantastic assist for Germany in the international break as well. You would think Arteta wants to kind of ride off any small thing that might give the guy some confidence. Like even if it's just that one drop of fuel to light the fire, like maybe that assist is what it takes. But I just can't see him not playing. Like I know people are saying take him out the firing line, let someone else play, give him minutes off the bench, slowly build up his confidence. Maybe, but I just don't think in this game against an Everton that we need to be able to fight physically. That I would not be playing. Like I would be playing
I
him
agree.
basically,
Yeah,
just
you
from
know
the
me.
physical battle side.
I've been very well. I wouldn't say I've been very critical. I've just said what I've observed. But even with that in mind, I think it's a game that tactically suits him, and just want to see a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Oomph. That's not the
I
word
guess
I'm looking for. But
just the final third, like just to see something from him in the final third,
mine's not
right?
even on the ball. Like just off the ball, he needs to be more proactive and urgent. That's the word I was looking for, urgency. Just need to see more of that. And like, he's very good at winning duels and he's very good defensively. Of course, on the ball, he needs to improve. But my biggest thing is that position is so important in what it unlocks for the rest of the team, and so much selfless running that I've not seen enough of that, and he has to step up, I'm afraid. But yeah, I do think it's a game that tactically suits him, and for its worth, long term, I think he'll be fine. I still think he'll come good.
Long term, I have no doubts on him. I know a lot of people are concerned, but I am nowhere near
you've seen all
writing off
this
a player 4
stupid
games in.
athletic journalists doing all
Yeah,
the
yeah, I saw
clickbaity
that
stuff again.
about like flop of the summer or whatever. But if you look at 2 seasons ago, that same list they made it then, and Ben White was their flop of the summer then, 4 games in. So I know to take this with a pinch of salt. Like Ben White,
Last
I'd
season,
argue,
it
is one
was
of the
Tottenham
main
getting
names on the
top
team sheet.
4, not us. All of this
Oh yeah,
nonsense. Like, they love a
yeah. So
4-game sample size.
they love it. Every time we get to the first international break, they want to smear us with mud. But it is what it is. My
On
only
the
last question is
go on.
just on
Yeah, go for it.
Tomiyasu, because obviously he did
Ah,
fantastic at centre
yeah,
back for Japan against Germany, and I think he's had a confidence issue too. And he actually gave an interview where he said like it's now about him being confident at Arsenal,
I saw
and when
that.
he goes
Yeah,
back to the national team, he's hoping he can bring that confidence with him. Obviously, he was very good and very confident at the beginning with us, and when he kind of returned, he had a couple of little recurring injury issues, and then he had a freak accident, and he kind of slowly fell down the pecking order. But it was only a year ago at the Emirates when he kind of masterclassed that left back, not having played there for us before, against Mohamed Salah and shut him out of the game and got him
yeah.
subbed at 60 minutes. So, a lot has happened in that time. But now with the games coming thick and fast with Champions League, I'd like to think that the likes of Tomiyasu and even Trossard, as you mentioned, he scored an unbelievably Tekka's goal for
I've
Belgium.
not
Like,
seen it. I've heard it was a banger.
you need to see it. Yeah. So these guys, I want to see more of them. But
Yeah.
the question is again, it's like, is this the game they would play in? Because like Tomiyasu, he gives you again another guy, a big, strong guy, defend aerially, stop them from
I
getting
just,
over the top.
for me personally, like, I get it, but I don't think, with respect to Everton, we need to go and change everything to compete. Like, I think the physicality in midfield, sure. Up front, it's Beto. Gabriel Saliba White is more than enough to deal with Beto. Like, that's it. We
I
don't need
guess
to go and
Calvert-Lewin's probably still
remove the
injured.
control. Oh, good point. I just made an assumption he is. I'm not sure. But even still,
He
it's either
always
Calvert.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think what I'm getting at is what Tomiyasu gives us physically, we lose control-wise with Zinchenko. And I don't think Everton's threat is enough to justify removing that component for me personally.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that makes sense.
And the other thing I was just going to say on the Jorginho point, because yeah, it's a really good point you raised. I don't actually think it would be an issue if he played. If it was Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, I think it would be fine. And I think it's because the way Everton's midfield is physical, but the areas they occupy, I don't think they'd get that close to Jorginho. And I actually think it's a selection that, if it happened, I wouldn't be surprised, because if I'm imagining we're up against a low block, Jorginho's range of passing and the way he shifts opposition structures is actually really clever. And it's something that probably would work quite well. And just more to the point, even I think it's quite a lazy narrative that people go to with Vieira. I get it. Like, he's flimsy and he's a bit weak, and therefore you worry about that stuff. But the areas he occupies on the pitch, that's where he's gonna get pressed quickly, and like that's where the physicality comes in. I think Jorginho operates a bit lower down, right, and a bit deeper, and I think he has more time and space there, so I don't think it's a big problem. And also, he's very good at evading pressure and stuff. Like, we've seen it in big physical games before, so I wouldn't worry about it. But for what it's worth, I still think he'll go for Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, just because that's his trio. And then, I know I'm waffling, but just on rotation, I don't think we're going to see that much.
Rotation?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much in terms of starting 11s. I think he's just going to really flex the squad in kind of substitutions, to be honest. I think you'll see over the combination of Champions League, Premier League games that if we're in winning game states, I think now he's going to start taking people off a bit earlier and kind of, especially the back line, like bring Tomiyasu on for 30, 35 minutes sort of thing. Yeah, in
So
terms
it's
of
more
start.
about how he uses them as subs rather than necessarily,
Yeah, I
kind
think
of
so.
just
And there'll be
changing
the
5
odd.
or 6 of the lineup.
He will not change more than 2 people, in my opinion, for a starting 11 in a Premier League or
Mhm.
Champions League game in this period. And even those one or two, unless it's fatigue, I think it will be very specific tactical instructions. But I'd be very surprised personally. What about you?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think for me, like he said it in the presser today. I was watching him, and they asked him about what's it like. It's going to be crazy. It's like every 3 days you're playing. This is new for you, and he just said it's exactly what we did last year with Europa League.
Yeah,
That was his response. Like he just does not care. And he's like, obviously, it's great to be back after 7 years, but we were there for 17 years and we didn't win it. So we
if
need to learn
anything,
from why we didn't win it and win it this time. And so I was
yeah.
like, oh, he's ambitious.
Nah, man, he is. Yeah,
And you know what he says? He says that the best players need to be able to play every 3 days, and that's modern football.
and also
So
I'd
I
argue
don't think
playing
the
in the.
rotation's that deep, right? Because he's himself saying the best should be able to play every 3 days.
Yeah, this is why like people are going so OTT on Saka and even on the Champions League versus Europa League, I'd argue in terms of rest, you actually get more
Mhm.
rest when you're in the Champions League. Look at our fixtures. We're going to play on Sunday, then Wednesday, and then Sunday again. Europa League, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you go. Whereas you're actually getting
Do
an
you know
extra
how
day
many
rest.
times I saw us play Thursday night and then like first kickoff on Sunday? And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? They literally made rules in the last 2 years to help Premier League clubs that if you played on a Wednesday night, you couldn't play the 12:30 Saturday kickoff. That was like a rule to help them. But when
Yeah.
we were playing and we weren't in the Champions League, when we had like rearranged, postponed fixtures, we would play them Wednesday night and then play Saturday 12:30.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying anything here. It's not conspiracy theory. I'm just saying that the protections that they're meant to give you, all the other leagues protect their clubs in Europe. The
Yeah.
Premier
No.
League and the FA do not give a shit about supporting English clubs win the Champions League. But
No.
across the
Don't.
rest of Europe, if you look at the Bundesliga, Serie A, Liga, they will make sure they schedule the fixtures between the Champions League ties at a time that suits their clubs who are representing their league in Europe. Whereas in the Premier League, it's just like we're completely dictated to by the TV broadcast companies only. That's like the
Yeah.
only thing that we use for decision making in this country.
Yeah. It's nuts. But yeah, I feel.
Let's look at Everton.
Yeah, let's go on to. They played Sheffield United before the international break. What was that? 2-2, right?
Yeah, I think Archer scored and assisted. Pickford scored an own goal. It was a bit of a wild one.
Yeah, so their team for that game was Pickford, Patterson, Tarkowski, Braithwaite, Ashley Young, Garner, Gay, Onana, Danjuma. Sorry, I've read that so badly. And then Decore and Beto. But that was their team. And I'll be honest, I've not really paid attention to them in terms of injuries or anything what's been going on. So not much insight to add on that. But I just think it's a game, like, just do our thing. Like, just go there, dominate the ball, move them around, play our game, and we should be fine. Obviously, what they did last year was they really packed out the half spaces on the left and the right? So, yeah, we're going to need to.
I think just generally they're a team that obviously is going through a tough period. But what we've got to be careful about is that they've actually, from an underlying numbers point of view, they have created a lot of XG and
Oh,
they
have they?
barely, yeah, like before this game against Sheffield, I don't think they'd scored yet. And they had like 5 XG, 0 goals or something ridiculous.
So I
So
remember
they
the
have been
Fulham game was
creating.
heavy, like in terms of.
That's
Yeah,
probably
so I
where a
don't know if
lot of
that's
the XG
influenced
came
it.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I don't know how they did not win that game. And
I know.
Leno pulled out
Yeah.
a masterclass strike.
I just
Oh,
think
that
I
was
look at
wild.
this team and I'm like, oh, we're just better than them. It's simple as that. And I think we can get so caught up in the kind of, oh, we haven't won there in so many years. We hadn't won at Spurs for so many years. And look how we dicked them at their place last year. Like, I just think, I personally, I've said this before, I don't buy into two things. I don't buy into, uh, well, it's one thing really. I don't buy into these previous record sort of things. I think it's got nothing to do with anything personally. And I think you just rock up there. We're a different team. They're a different team. Rock up, play your football. We're a better team than them. Win it. Go on to the next. Which
Yeah,
leads
no, that's fair.
nicely on to score predictions.
So this is going to be an interesting one. What are your thoughts here? So
Well,
we've had
we
four
both got
matches so far.
we had a full house of correct 3-1s. I don't know if you
That
saw
was good.
the little clip I put out where, obviously Scott did it, Mike did it, you did it, I did it, James from Planet FPL did it. I'm sure Adam 35 who did it. 3-1 felt very popular. So yeah, we're doing okay. You're doing better than me. So 4 games have gone. You've predicted 4 wins. And obviously, I predicted 3. I predicted a draw, but I got the game wrong in which it happened. But yeah, you've predicted 13 goals for us. I've predicted 10, and we've both predicted that we'd concede 2, and we've actually scored 8 and conceded 4. So with that in mind, where are you heading for Goodison?
I still think it would be a bit of a cagey game, and I'd like to get a big statement victory, but everyone's been traveling, they've been all over the world. I never liked the first game back from an international break, and I think maybe they'll have their eyes on Champions League. So just that 1% distraction of what they're excited and looking forward to. I hope they don't have too many mishaps. I think Everton will score a goal, but I think ultimately we should have too much for them, as you said. I'm going to go for 2-1 because I think it's going to be a battle. Like if it was my heart, that's my head. If it was my heart, I'd be saying like 4-0 and some shit. Like that's how big the gap between us is right now. But I just don't think we're going to make it easy for ourselves. So 2-1.
It's interesting what you say about your heart. So my head is saying I think it's going to be chaos. And when I say chaos, I think we'll have control. I just think they'll score from like a fucking set piece and a mistake from us. I just think there's something in like defensively, structurally, we look good and we're not conceding good quality chances per se. But I just think there's something about this team and scoring shithouse goals and us conceding stupid goals where it just feels aligned that happens. On the flip side, I think we're going to fucking annihilate them in periods in this game. I honestly, like, I think there's going to be periods where we're like, wow, it's clicking. I really feel that in this game. I've got this weird feeling where things are just really going to fall into place. The fluidity will be better than what it's been, and it'll be free flowing. We'll create good quality, consistent chances. And I'm going 4-2.
4-2, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where the chaos part comes in as well, right?
Yeah. And when I say 4-2, like I said, I think we'll create a lot of chances and I think we'll be clinical. I just can see them scoring like a set piece and us making a mistake that gives them a bit of a lifeline. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm going 4-2 to the Arsenal. Bit of a whopper one.
I like that. If you get that one completely spot on, I'm going to be like in awe of your prediction abilities, honestly. Because that is a wild scoreline. To score 6 goals in a game of football does not happen very often. So I don't know what you're kind of telling yourself that that's the scoreline, but I need some of that kind of confidence in my outcomes because I'm not very confident in my 2-1 at all. It's just seems rationally where it would end up. But
fair enough.
Yeah, from an FPL point of view, this might be worth just adding in here at the end as we wrap up. Have you changed your opinion on what you think the best 3 Arsenal assets are compared to, like, say, in pre-season when we spoke? Like, I'm someone who still owns like all 3 of mine, for example. So I have Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba. But the reason I asked this is because it's quite timely. I might be looking to sell Saliba in this week or next week. So I'm starting to get to that point. Yeah, like I might move him on next week when we play Tottenham. It feels like an opportune time. Obviously, we then face City a couple of weeks after that. Like we start to go to a bit of a tough stretch, right? And I'm thinking, do I really need this guy in my back line? Like I could get someone else. I could get like a Newcastle defender. Yeah. So you're on the same kind of plan in FPL. Like the defender's the one you're more happy to lose first rather than one of the attackers, right?
Yeah, and also what I think the best 3 is probably Saliba, Saka, and one of Martinelli or Odegaard. But I just don't think with our fixtures you need 3. I think it's fine to have 1 or 2, and both of them being attackers. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not that keen on our assets for the foreseeable. Well, not the foreseeable, but the
Like
next
for this
block.
game, this game I really want them. This game I really like them. Even Tottenham, I like our attackers, but I think the defender will be moving soon, and I may get rid of Martinelli come game week 8 when we face Man City. So because I've got Saka, Martinelli, and Foden, and Haaland.
Okay.
I don't want 4 attackers all in one game. Like I do not want that in my life. So that's a good time for me, I think, to jump ship and restructure my team at that point. But I'm going to try get a few points out of Martinelli until then. And I'm actually backing him for the brace this weekend. So of the kind of the 2-1 that I've predicted, Martinelli is the one I'm backing to explode this weekend.
Nice. Are you going to play UCL Fantasy?
I am, yeah. I played it last 2 seasons, so this will be my 3rd year. I'm really looking forward to it.
I cannot wait for next Wednesday. I'm going to be a mess back there, and obviously we'll try to do the review of the Everton game before Wednesday, because then we can touch on what we think the team will be for PSV and stuff. And we'll see if we can make that align.
Maybe we can do it on Tuesday or something before the game.
Yeah. That sounds
Monday
good.
or Tuesday. Yeah, we'll let everyone know.
It'll be interesting to see what state the team is in after Sunday, and then we're back in the Champions League on Wednesday. So we'll touch on that.
It's been long overdue.
Yeah, we'll touch on that, and obviously going forward, we do the previews every Friday, right? So we'll be able to touch on the Champions League from midweek and stuff going forward. So hopefully it's another addition to the season, which should be a special one in this competition. Let's fingers crossed.
I think so. Well, until next time, thank you everyone who watches this back or listens on pod. Good luck to us this weekend. Up the Arsenal, and let's go get those 3 points, baby.
Yeah, let's get it. Up the Arsenal.
Let's do it. See you next time.